Welcome back to the channel, Story Lovers. If you're new here, you have perfect timing, because today we're diving into one of those tales that seems too incredible to be true, the kind of story that reminds you that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they wear worn-out janitorial uniforms. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because you are not going to want to miss a single detail of what unfolds. This is the story of the Iron Ghost. The fluorescent lights of the Northwood High School gymnasium hummed a lonely tune, reflecting off the freshly waxed floors that Leo polished with a rhythm born of 5 long years. His mop was a metronome, swishing back and forth, a silent companion to the whirl of his thoughts. Those thoughts were almost always of his daughter, Maya, sleeping soundly in their small apartment, a stack of overdue bills on the kitchen table. At 42, Leo's world had shrunk to 2 things: providing for Maya and the quiet, aching memory of a different life. His hands, now calloused from cleaning supplies, once bore the different, deeper calluses of a GI and the grip of a rifle. He was a ghost in the machine of the high school, invisible to the students who dashed past him and the faculty who barely registered his presence. All except for the after-school karate club. He'd watch them sometimes from the shadowed hallway, a faint, sad smile touching his lips as the sensei, a proud and capable man named Mr. Higgins, put the 5-star pupils, all newly minted black belts, through their paces. They were good, strong kids, full of youthful fire and the unshakable confidence that comes with a first major achievement. One evening, as Leo was emptying trash cans, the group of 5 approached him. Their leader, a lanky teenager named Jake, spoke with a casual, almost condescending friendliness. "Hey, Mr. Janitor. We're doing some light sparring. We're a man short. You wanna put on some pads and have a go? Just for fun. We'll go easy on you." Leo shook his head, a gentle refusal. "Not for me, boys. I have floors to finish." But they were persistent, fueled by a mix of boredom and a genuine, if misguided, desire to include the quiet man they saw every day. "Come on, it'll be a laugh. Show us what you've got." Mr. Higgins, looking on from the side, gave a slight, amused nod. He saw no harm in it. Something in their insistence, in the way they saw him as a harmless diversion, pricked a part of Leo he'd kept carefully buried. He thought of Maya, of the quiet dignity he tried to model for her. He looked at the 5 black belts, their confidence shining like a new coin, and he made a decision. "Okay," he said, his voice quiet. "But no pads." A ripple of surprise went through the group. Mr. Higgins raised an eyebrow but said nothing. They moved to the center of the dojo mat. The 5 teenagers took their stances, loose and grinning. Leo simply stood, his posture relaxed, his hands hanging loosely at his sides. He looked like a man waiting for a bus, not a fight. Jake made the first move, a fast, textbook roundhouse kick aimed at Leo's shoulder. It was meant to be a light tap. But it never landed. In a movement so fluid it was barely perceptible, Leo shifted his weight an inch, the kick whistling harmlessly past his chest. His hand, almost casually, tapped Jake on the back of the head as the boy overextended, sending him stumbling forward with more momentum than force. The grins vanished. The other 4 exchanged glances. This was a fluke. They advanced together this time, a coordinated attack. A punch came from the left, a sweep from the right. Leo didn't block, he evaded. He flowed between them like water, his movements economical and precise. A subtle redirection here, a light push there. He wasn't fighting them, he was orchestrating their chaos. They were panting, frustrated, throwing techniques they had mastered with all their strength, and he was dismantling them with an almost gentle grace, never throwing a single offensive strike, only using their own energy against them. Mr. Higgins was on his feet now, his eyes wide. This wasn't luck. This was artistry. This was a level of mastery he had only ever seen in old tournament footage. The final student, the most hot-headed of the group, let out a cry of frustration and launched a wild, powerful haymaker. Leo finally moved with clear intent. He didn't retreat. He stepped inside the arc of the punch, his forearm deflecting the blow upward, his other hand coming to rest, open-palmed, a hair's breadth from the boy's throat. The entire gym fell silent. The 5 black belts stood heaving, humbled and utterly bewildered, looking at the quiet janitor who had just dismantled them without breaking a sweat. It was at that moment that the main doors to the gym swung open. A man stood there, silhouetted against the hallway light. He was older, his hair silvered at the temples, but he stood with a ramrod straightness that screamed a lifetime of discipline. He was dressed in a crisp military uniform adorned with stars. General Miller. Mr. Higgins said, his voice filled with surprise and respect. What are you doing here? I thought our meeting was tomorrow. The general didn't answer him. His eyes were locked on Leo, who had quickly returned to his relaxed stance, looking down at the floor as if hoping to disappear into the waxed wood. The general's stern expression slowly broke into a look of profound, disbelieving recognition. He took a few slow, deliberate steps onto the mat, the silence in the room so thick you could hear the hum of the lights. Leo, the general said, his voice a low rumble that held a universe of memory. He took another step, his eyes scanning Leo's face, the janitor's uniform. Then, he did something that shocked everyone. He snapped to attention and delivered a crisp, perfect salute. The 5 black belts gasped. Mr. Higgins looked on, utterly stunned. The general held the salute, his voice cracking with emotion as he spoke, not to the room, but to the man in front of him. After all these years, by God, Sergeant Leo Markov, the Iron Ghost of the 10th Special Forces. I heard you were. I didn't believe it when they said you were working as a. Leo finally looked up, meeting the general's gaze. The ghost of a smile touched his lips. It's just Leo now, sir. It's a good job. Steady hours. The general lowered his hand, shaking his head in awe. Steady hours, he repeated, a hollow laugh escaping him. He turned to the stunned audience of sensei and students. Do you have any idea who this man is? Iron Ghost wasn't just a call sign. It was a legend. He was the man they sent in when no one else could get out. A master of Krav Maga, Sistema, and half a dozen other disciplines I can't even pronounce. He once held a mountain pass for 72 hours against an entire militia, by himself, to allow his unit to evacuate civilians. They called him the Ghost because he could move through any environment unseen and strike with the weight of a freight train. The general looked back at Leo, his eyes soft with a painful understanding. I was there the day they gave you that medal. The day you walked away from it all. After your wife. He trailed off, not needing to finish. Leo's gaze drifted to the window, towards the direction of his apartment where his daughter slept. Maya needed a father, not a ghost, he said softly. She needed stability. Safety. This, he said, gesturing to the mop and bucket in the corner, provides that. The plot resolves not with Leo returning to his old life, but with him finally integrating the two halves of his soul. The challenge was never the 5 black belts, it was the internal battle between the warrior he was and the father he needed to be. The resolution comes when he realizes he can be both. Mr. Higgins, humbled and honored, begs Leo to become an occasional instructor, not to teach the kids how to fight, but to teach them the discipline, control, and respect that true strength requires. The 5 black belts, once arrogant, become his most dedicated students, seeing not a janitor, but a master, a mentor, and a man. And for Leo, the greatest victory wasn't found on a battlefield or a dojo mat, but later that night, when he kissed his sleeping daughter's forehead. He was no longer just the janitor, or the Iron Ghost. He was her dad, a man who had carried the weight of both titles with a quiet, unbreakable love. He had found a new mission, one that didn't require a weapon, but a willing and open heart. So, what's the message here, friends? It's that greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's in the quiet swish of a mop, the gentle hands tucking a child into bed, the humble choice to lay down a sword to pick up a lunchbox. The world is full of unseen heroes walking among us. If this story moved you, if it reminded you to look twice at the quiet people in your life, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that uncover the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know who you might be sharing a room with.